we can get a. All right, guys, welcome back to the second part of this presentation. This is our microeconomics class, CRN 23160. All right, so with this class, the first thing we want to do is go visit our e-classroom and see what that looks like. Let me make this larger for folks. You guys seeing this? Um, should I make it a little bigger? Is this big enough for you guys?
So you're
Yes?
not sharing the screen.
Kind of seen it.
All right, no, I forgot to start sharing. Sorry, my bad. Thank you very much. All righty then. So here we go. Click. You seeing anything there now?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so this is what the e-classroom looks like. You're gonna start with different textbooks up at the top here. I would recommend that you download everything. You could forget um, the pay evaluation form for now. That's there for um, use later on. And of course, I ask people to download this, which is the course outline with course schedule and assignments. So hopefully you have that. If you haven't, well, that's something to do. This is the link to the e-classroom. So if for some reason you're not on the WhatsApp chat group and you need to get to class, this is where the link will be posted. This is where it is posted, so you should be able to use this link to get to it. WhatsApp chat group, this is the link to get into that. So those of you who haven't yet joined the WhatsApp chat group, please do so because it's going to be something that you need to be doing on a ongoing basis. Now, in this course, I'm not going to expect that everybody understands and knows how to do citations. So there are a couple links to the citation, some citation resources. So this is how to use citation in MS Word for those of you who have Microsoft Word that you're utilizing. This is a link here to a language lab offered by the Purdue College, which gives you further information and details of that. This is a video on formatting your paper for APA styles of citation. This is the 7th edition here. When we do class recordings, it'll come up in this section here. So the first recording that we have here will come up as um, as we're speaking. All right. So the first recording will come up below here when it comes up. So a forum discussion, we have one forum discussion already that is live already, and interestingly enough, I think some people have already started um, posting to this discussion forum. It is a marked exercise. It's for 5% of your grade. It is based off of a couple questions extracted from the first assignment. So we're kind of sharing some marks out of that first assignment with this. These are the questions for it. And you're required to post your discussion, your responses to these questions, fully cited and that type of stuff. Um, and then post a response to at least one other student's thing on them. When we say a response, a critical analysis of that person's contribution to the online discussion. So if I were to click on that, I'm pretty certain I'll see if there's any posts. Let's see. Yes, we have some contributions from Miss Ramsey, Miss Cadogan, and Miss Thompson. All right, so, and people have started replying already. Interesting. All right. Okay, so I'll have to start going through these and giving, although it wasn't meant to start until this week, curious about the discussion forum responses that people are putting up here at this point. But as you can see, there's some people who've already started um, doing the work on the class, so that's going to be interesting for us to follow
So I
through.
thought it was the 29th that January, you know.
Yeah, you did you? 29th of February.
Because when I
doesn't
realized,
it doesn't matter. I mean, at least you've started some work. But uh, well, let's put it this way. I mean, you kind of have a heads in front. but there's opportunities for you to update and upgrade the documents as you move forward. Now, one of the key things that I'm going to be looking at when I look at your forum discussions is the way in which you do citation, because the the questions themselves are not difficult, but how you do your citation and your citation notation is going to be critical for me, because that I find is where most students have the biggest challenges when it comes to doing academic work. How many of you in this class have already done Libs 130? Anybody?
I
I
did,
have.
sir.
Okay, so let me, all right, I see some
I
hands.
have as well, sir.
All right, so a few of you all have that prior experience. That's good, because that will be useful moving forward. Because as I said, that is probably the part that has the most, that poses the biggest challenges to students in class. All right, especially as, okay, you can put your hands down now. All right, that's going to be, unless of course you have a question you want to ask Miss Singh and Miss Valentine. No? All right. I'm gonna leave the panel like this so that I can see where hands are. Miss Valentine, your hand's still up, huh? Just remember. All right, so there's a rubric here for that for the thing, so you should be able to use a rubric to understand how we're going to be marking this activity. All right, so that's the forum discussion. It was the first thing that was listed here, and I'm happy that some people went ahead and started doing work on that. Premature as it may be, it's still a good move, a good indication of your willingness to do the work. All right, so the next section here is what we call the assignment submission portal. This portal is designed with two sets of portals. The first one is the Turnitin, and all assignments that you're submitting, all written assignments that you're submitting, have to meet a similarity rating of no greater than 15%. So the Turnitin portals here are designed for you to submit your assignment into the portal, for it to do a comparison on the system to check and see what level of similarity your work has in relation to other work. Now, obviously, there's no submissions at this point in time. Um, do not submit your forum discussion in there, because what's going to happen is that these questions are also part of the first assignment. So I don't want you getting that similarity coming up in the assignment. Yes, Aliyah, see you have your hand up.
Yes, sir. I was gonna ask, right?
Hmm.
So when you're doing the assignment and how we have to do the citations,
Citation,
if
yeah.
we, yeah, if we like have 50% of comparison, but we citation the C word it, we will still
Citation.
lose compliments.
No, what the objective here is to give you a chance to fix it before you submit it into the final draft section. You understand? So you're submitting into the individual assignment, and you could submit multiple times into the individual portals, to allow for you to fix your document. So the idea would be to kind of hone your citation skills. That makes sense, Aliyah?
So we, whatever information we get from the document, we have to like change it up in our own words.
So to a great extent, yes, which is to fix your citation issues, to lower your similarity ratings. Okay, so one of the poor things that happens with students who come out of secondary school is that there's a habit of copying and pasting into assignments what they find online as a response to a question. So the questions, the objective of the exercise here is to kind of teach you not to do that, or to desist from doing that. Which is, yes, you will need to find sources of information in on the internet and from the textbooks and stuff, but you need to be able to balance between your work and the work of other people. So we're saying we're allowing up to 15% similarity, but no more beyond that. So you can, when you first submit into this, you're going to get a report. All right, as it has now, there are no reports because there's nobody submitted anything at this point in time, and you download the report, and that report will give you a breakdown of where the similarities are. So when you all start doing this, we'll have a session where we can go through and look at it, and I can help you all fix these things. So it's not that I'm going to leave you on your own in terms of fixing those things, all right? Because by the time you get through with the first assignment, you'll understand what you need to do for the journal and for the group project and stuff like that. The group project, of course, is something that a group is going to be working on. All right. Now, once you've gotten your similarity ratings down to less than 15%, then you submit it into this final draft assignments here. Now, you'd notice that there are 4 submission points here as opposed to 3 Turnitin, and that's because the Turnitins are for written projects, and there's one other submission that you would need to make, which is a PowerPoint submission, which will be due after you've done your PowerPoint, your group presentations. So we'll get to the all the assignments and stuff in a little bit. Just want to walk you through the e-classroom and what it looks like. Okay. All right. So any more questions about this? Aaliyah, everything's clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. All right, so then we move into the various units, and each unit will comprise of a number of YouTube videos that I've selected that would cover the material, some readings that from the textbooks that are provided in the student link up here, all these textbooks here that are up here, you should download them. Um, and we get back to that first unit, and there's a unit presentation with a PowerPoint. This one has narration because I've had done this with a previous class and I kept the recording. Um, so you can view the PowerPoint presentation and go through the material because it covers the learning outcomes for this unit, and that the combination of these things here help you to prepare for an assessment for this unit. So the unit itself is assessed by a unit quiz. So when you click on this and you go to the quiz, um, so apparently people have started attempting the quiz already. Um, so you as an individual student, you're allowed 3 attempts at this quiz. There's a 20-minute time limit. It's 10 questions, multiple choice questions that look like this. Let me start an attempt from my side. So you're going to get each question on a separate page. You have to answer the question, and you get this little checkbox here. It'll let you know if it's right or wrong. It's incorrect, and you can't change the response. It just lets you know, right? Then you go to the next page, which is the next question, and you look and you give an answer there, and you check that, and this might be wrong too. Next page. So for me, I'm not looking at it. So this is how the quizzes are going to look. You see this quiz navigation here is going to take you through. Now the quiz itself comes from a question bank, and the question bank has maybe about 20 to 30 questions. So what it'll do from the topic. So what it'll do is that it would um, arbitrarily or randomly select questions from the bank and pull it up here. It'll also change the position of where the response is. So to avoid copying and collaboration between students. So the idea is that as you finish a unit, you go through the material and then you attempt the quiz. The objective here is to get as perfect a possible score as possible. All right, and that is the same format that all the different units will have. So again, you'll see a Unit 2 here. You see a YouTube link here. You see the PowerPoint presentation, the readings here identified by chapter and text, and of course the quiz that goes into that. Now all the quizzes are open already, and um, they will close on the 18th of May. So let me just look at this. I see there were a couple of attempts by people. All right, so I'm getting some results here. So we have one person with a 10. Wow, this is a brand new student and she's already gotten a 10. She did it today, in fact. I wonder why she's not in class. Um, we haven't. So this person did it twice and their highest score was a 10. Um, Miss Chattergoon, she did it twice. Her highest score is a 7. No, is it? All right, so let me give you some strategies here when you're doing this thing. So Miss Chattergoon, she did it 3 times already. Highest score being 7. All right, so I think again, you all should have waited a bit before you did this. So the idea with having multiple attempts at any quiz is that if you do a quiz and you get a poor score, that indicates that you don't quite understand the information. So it means you need to go back and review the material before you attempt a quiz another time. All right, that makes sense? Tell me you
Yes, sir.
understand that, right,
Yes,
Karishma?
sir.
Yes,
Karishma?
sir.
Yeah, rather than try and do attempt after attempt, that kind of stuff, the idea is to take your time and work through the material, understand it, then attempt the quiz. The quiz is assessing the level of understanding you've developed for the content. All right. If you do a quiz and you don't do well, then it means that you haven't quite gotten the information. All right. So that's something that you ought to be looking at. All right, Karishma and others. Okay. All right, so each unit is designed in the same manner. Some units have more material. So, for instance, Unit 5, we go Unit 1, 2, then Unit 5. Now, this is because I'm correlating the units with the sections of the syllabus. So I usually teach Unit 1, 2, then Unit 5, then come back to 3 and 4. So I've set up this thing the same way. So you have this area on consumer behavior. So you see my PowerPoint here in terms of the consumer behavior material. This is a video explaining some of the content. Readings, some additional videos. I've left the displays open, and of course the quiz that goes with it. Then we're back to Unit 3, which is demand and supply. Again, I've left a presentation that I created for this, a PowerPoint that goes with it, the readings that go with it, and videos that are available to explain various concepts from the unit, and of course the quiz there. Then we have elasticity, which is related to demand and supply. Again, we have the readings, we have the unit PowerPoint, some videos, and the quiz. Oh, excuse me, and the quiz that goes with it. So now we're on to Unit 6, Theory of the Firm 1. And Theory of the Firm is divided into 2 separate areas, Theory of the Firm 1, and then Unit 7, Theory of the Firm 2. And Unit 7 is subdivided into 2 units, Theory of the Firm 2, Part 1, and Theory of the Firm 2, Part 2. This is with with a separate video for, not video, a PowerPoint for it. All right, this goes into detail because of how critical and important, or how much information is in this area here. Videos to go with it. All right, so this looks fairly straightforward, guys.
Yes,
Yeah. So that's the class layout. So the objective here now is, let's correlate with that now the um, the, course outline that you should have downloaded. All right, so let's make this big enough for us to share here. You guys seeing this? Is it big enough for you to see? All right. So this is the course outline that details everything about the class. So we're going to spend some time going through this, some significant elements of this class, this document. So of course this is related to this CRN. Um, so you can go through this and read this in terms of all the stuff that's going on. All right. So assessments. So we have 8 unit quizzes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the best 7 out of the 8. The weighting for this is 30%. So the quizzes count for a good chunk of your marks. So that's something that you want to pay attention to, making sure that you try to get the best results possible from the unit quizzes. The online discussion forum, as we talked about before, that's a 5% weighting. The individual research paper or the first assignment is 15%. The second individual, which we refer to as an articles journal, that's weighted at 20%. Then collectively, the group project is weighted at 30%, but it's subdivided 20% for the research paper itself, that's the written work, and 10% for the group presentation. All right, so that's the number of assessments that are taking place. All right, so this is some information to communicate with me. You already have my phone contact, and these email addresses are available for you in the event that you need to communicate with me and you can't get through. Your fastest and most quickest way to get through to me is actually via WhatsApp, either as a message in the group chat, or you can message me individually. You just kind of have to let me know who you are, because you all don't necessarily have your names attached to your profiles, and ask your questions. I will be able to respond to you um, based upon, when I get the message and read it, and I'll try to respond to you as fast as I can, usually within 24 hours. Um, so you can read this communication policy that I have here, so you'd stay within the protocols of that. Um, WhatsApp messages is probably, accessibility for me at any day and any time. But of course, if it's a weekend and a Sunday and you're messaging me, you'd have to wait for me to respond. During the week, it's kind of like as I see it, I'll answer situation. All right. This is a course description from this area here. So you'd be able to see that. This is a diagram that tries to illustrate or encapsulate the course in terms of a sort of, flow diagram for you to understand its shape, and this is primarily for people who are more visual orientation in their learning. This is why we're doing the course. Now we have to remember this course is a prerequisite for other courses to follow, primarily macroeconomics, and for those of you who would need to do it, managerial economics. So it's important that you pass this course with a C or better grade, or else you'll have to find yourself repeating it. So the objective here is to get the best grade possible. If possible, get an A. All right. Okay, so you can go through these documents here and look at the learning outcomes and this kind of stuff. It gives a lot of details as to how the course is designed and what it's linked to in terms of what it's trying to do, what aspects of your learning things. So a lot of learning theories inside here as well. How it links to the overall program and its learning outcomes, because all programs have a learning strategies in it, and it shows where this course links with those overall programs. This document here indicates to you which learning outcomes are associated with the various assessments that we're looking at here. So it's a sort of checklist and to do correlation that we are in fact evaluating all of the various learning outcomes of the course. So this is really more of a, what's the word I want to use, right? Administrative type stuff from an academic administration. All right. So you'd realize that the written and oral, the group project itself covers all of the learning outcomes across the board. So it has probably, which is one of the reasons why it's weighted so heavily, because it measures your performance in all of those areas across the board. Welcome back, Jada. All right, teaching methods. Well, again, you all can read that. This is the section that I think you want to pay attention to the most. This has to do with the course calendar. So what I've tried to identify here is, right, so today is February 1st. For this session, we're doing introductions and induction. So we expect that there is a live session today. Now, there is not going to be live sessions every week for you to attend classes. I have anticipated about 5 sessions for the semester. Other than that, you're on your own working with the material. I have given you a guidance here as to when you should be completed with the units of work that you're working through this. So, um, unit 1, you should start work on the class, of course, from this week. By unit 1, you should be finished with it by the next week, which is the 8th. Unit 2, you should be completed with it by February 15th. Um, unit Right, so remember we go unit 1, unit 2, then unit 5, which is week 4 and 5. I'm expecting, because that's a big chunk of material there. So I'm giving you 2 weeks for that. The stuff in yellow is the assignment due. So the forum discussion should be in on completed by February 29th. And we expect to have our third session then, third face-to-face session during that period. So we're doing one session now, today. The next planned session is the 15th of February, which is when we actually return from Carnival. So you know that the college closes from the 9th to the 14th. So I expect to see you guys on the 15th, which is after Carnival finishes, so that we could touch base, see how people are going, and see if they're having any issues, that type of stuff. So you'd see the planned sessions that we're having. Again, these are not carved in stone, they can change based upon the requirements of the class. So if you don't want to have a session on the 15th, you don't have to come, that kind of stuff. All right. Um, So the date where the forum discussion is due, I plan to have a session with you. Again, is to check in to see how you're going with the material, but also to kind of look at, I'll be looking at the forum discussion information coming in, the posts that people are making, and in this class, I'll be able to give you all some sort of feedback on uh, how you're doing, what you're doing, and if there's any level of improvements that can be made to the contributions and stuff like that. All right, give you a kind of heads up on what's going on. The contributions you make towards the forum discussion, of course, is going to be will directly impact the first assignment that you have due as well. All right, so then we move to the 7th of March. That's unit 6. I expect you should be back on unit 3 by then. I'm not planning a session for that week. Then we have the following week, the 14th of March. This is where you should be tackling the unit on elasticity. I'm planning a session, but that session need not take place because we could probably postpone it to, let's make sure that that is the 28th instead, when the individual assignments are due, where we can look at what's happening with the individual assignments. But I think I prefer to meet with you all the week before, just to check and see how things are working or going for your final submissions of your individual assignments on the following week of the 28th of March. Um, so I'm planning to have a session then just to follow up with that. So back-to-back sessions from the 14th to the 28th. Um, uh, 21, 28, yeah, well, not really back-to-back, but a week apart kind of thing. During that week, you should be tackling Theory of the Firm 1, followed by okay, so I'll leave the journal assignment out for now because that's well after classes finish in March. All right. Um, then we have, don't know why I left this here though. Should have put this down below. Um, uh, then week 10 to 11, we have Theory of the Firm 2 session. Then there's a unit here, Unit 8, that is self-directed because the stuff for this is actually evaluated in part of your individual assignment. So you're going to be working on that unit by yourself, kind of thing, by through an applied format. Then on the 18th of April, we are doing a major review session, and the primary focus of this review session in April will be to look at where people are at in terms of their readiness for their group presentations and group projects. Because the following week, which is April 25th, which is the last week of class, your presentations will be taking place. So the week before, we'll be checking in with you guys to make sure that everything's okay. 18th of May, which is a month later, all the quizzes close, and your actual final project is not due until that point in time, but your presentation is due on the 25th of April. Now, I know things look scattered all over the place, so let's look at this summary of assignments and due dates that I put here. So the online forum discussion, 29th of February. Individual assignment 1 is due on the 28th of March. Your journal assignment is going to be due on the 2nd of May. The oral presentation, group oral presentation, is due on the 25th of April. Now I should have shifted the journal assignment downwards, because if any of you all are familiar with this, the college actually closes or ends classes the week of the 25th of April. You're all familiar with that, right? That the week of the classes close on the 28th of April, or they end. The following weeks after that would be your exams and that kind of stuff. So the last teaching day is the 28th of April. All right. So that's why the 25th is where we have our presentation, because that's the actual final time I can have a class with you. But to help you guys along, I've actually extended the deadline for submissions kind of outside the teaching time. So that's why I pushed the journal down to the 2nd of May and the written projects down to the 18th of May. All right, that's a Saturday night. Okay. Now, I have to submit my grades online the following week. So I'm giving, let me just show you all this this document here. So, as I said, the semester ends on April 28th, seeing that down here. I have to submit my grades by the 26th of May. So by giving you all until the 18th of May to submit your assignments, I'm kind of, cheating a little bit and giving you all a little extra time to get these assignments in outside of class times or official teaching times. All right. It doesn't mean that even after classes I can't meet with you on a one-to-one basis or even in small groups to tackle any sort of issues you might be having with your assignments and stuff like that. Okay. The objective here is for you to kind of go through the material, understand it, and get the best out of it, get the best returns out of it altogether. Any questions about this? I mean, I should expect to get the most amount of questions at this point in time. You all okay with the journal being outside the teaching time and stuff like that, giving you all a little extra time? I doubt anybody will say yes.
Yes, sir.
That sounds good. All right. Okay. Any questions you have about what's going on so far? Everybody's cool with it for now. You could do a thumbs up if you're in that area, so I could see you following. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, I'm not seeing any thumbs up. Nobody's thumbing up. All right, okay, thumbs up. Cool. So everybody else is okay, and I'm seeing 2 thumbs up, and everybody else is doing nothing. What does that mean? Silence is consent, you know that, right? Something in the chat. The assignment, should it be right? So we're going to go into that. Kurishman, that's a very good question. We're going to go into the the actual details of the assignments now. Let me just bring this back up here. By looking at each assignment in more detail now. Okay. All right. So let's start to get to that. So reading requirements. This is just part of the things you all will have these. Now I want you to keep those ebooks safely, um, because they will be useful in macroeconomics moving forward. All right, so you're going to need these textbooks in the future. So the ones that I provided for you, I provided a little more than these, couple more than these, but you will need them in the next class that follows this. So you kind of add it to your library of e-class ebooks. All right. Okay, so you all should be familiar with the grading system of the college. I shouldn't have to go through this with you. But I want as many of you all to get A's as possible. So you know our A's and B's are kind of high, 85 to 100%. So we're looking for scores above 90, all right, for everything. If you average above 90, it means you're going to get an A at the end of the day. All right, okay, so far we have that, quality points, how that works. Not going to go through that with you, you can go through it. So this is our first assignment. This is the online discussion. We spoke about this already. It's due on the 29th of February, which is the end of this month. Today is the 1st. What you need to do is you need to set up a discussion, well, respond to the questions and set up your assignment utilizing what we call the APA, or what is called the academic style of responding. So you're doing a paper with a title page with all your titling information, name of course, name of student, name of lecturer, CRN, and so on. And you are going to put your responses in afterwards. If you need to, I don't think with this you would need to have a table of contents, but you probably want to put in some page numbers. All right. You're going to, with appropriate citation. So citation is two parts, in-text citation and a citation list at the end. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to have to learn about this, because that's where you're going to lose the most amount of marks, which is why I want to give people opportunities to fix things. These are the questions that you are going to be responding to. These are going to be marked out of 20%, the questions themselves. So using graphical illustrations, explain consumer surplus, 5 marks. Despite the advantages and the disadvantages of price ceilings and floors, why may government still choose to implement these two forms of price ceilings? Pricing strategies, 5 marks. Economies and diseconomies of scale, that's the overall topic it comes from. Explain the general shape of the long run cost curves in relation to economies and diseconomies of scale. And distribution of income, briefly explain why the demand for concert tickets is considered a derived demand. So those are the questions that you need to pull your responses to, cite your sources for pulling your information together. Um, Once you submit that to the forum discussion that we had before, let's go to the forum discussion. Sort of like how we see people have already submitted here. Um, you need to respond to somebody else's submission. So you could download and read their discussion and look at how they went about responding to the questions, and set up what is called a critical evaluation of that person in your reply of the person's work to date. All right, that makes sense? Yes?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, that makes
Yes,
sense?
sir.
So Jada, for example, has a discussion. Right, so this is not a good enough response. You understand? When we say critical, what we have to talk about here is, so great explanations. That's a good place to start. But you need to go on to say, why was it great? What aspects of it did you enjoy reading? Or was there any part of it you had any contradictions with? That's what we're talking about. So both responses there. So haven't jumped the gun. Some people have already kind of like put in their responses, but I expect to see you go back in and improve your replies and explanations and so on. That makes sense, guys? Yes?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right. Okay. All right. So all right. So let's go back to the actual assignment itself. All right. So once you've put in, you have to respond to at least one person's work, and evaluate their work with them. So um, that way you can you know it's almost like you're a teacher and you're looking at somebody's work and say, hey, this is good stuff. I will put in a comment in relation to the work that's necessary, that's done, um, giving you some guidance as to maybe what is good and what is not so good. All right, something a little more critical from my position. All right. I usually take notes of what I'm doing, and I'll be scoring as well, because I'm going to mark this out of 100%. 90% is for actually just posting and putting up your document, and 10% is for the reply that you make. So looking at the quality of both your work and that type of stuff that's going on there. That makes sense so far? You'd see the criteria here, or rubric for what we're looking at in terms of the nature of your contributions. Yes, Malik.
So concerning the information, you would have to look for it online, or would it have
There's stuff in the
material
text. There's
concerning?
material in the text, and you can also look for it online. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So it's a combination. I'm not going to say you have to use the textbook, but yes, the textbook is a good place to start, but it may not be enough. You have to actually read beyond the textbooks that we've provided. So you can look at information across the board. All right. Cool. Malik.
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. So that's the end of that first assignment. Now notice this is only 5%, so don't hurt your head, okay? Um, and trust me, if you miss this deadline of the 29th of February, I'm not going to kill you. Just go ahead and do your posting. All right. Now let's go to assignment 2, which is the individual assignment. This one is for 15%. Its due date is the 28th of March, so this is the following month. Um, so in this is a full-fledged piece of paper, so academic paper. So you're required to answer this, and you have to set your paper up like an academic paper. It's double line spacing on regular 8.5, which is the normal page setting that comes up when you open up Word. 1 inch margins all the way around. Those are default settings on your thing. And your citation methodology should be APA format. You need to use a clear, um, what we call a clear font, such as Times New Romans or Arial, or something that's clear and easy for me to read. So let me just show you why that's important, because as of this last year, I had to go get these done for reading online, my old glasses, because it's become a headache to read people's work. Double line spacing is an easy setup, but a lot of students for some reason don't do it. Um, More importantly, the what I'm going to be looking for most important is going to be your citation. That's why you see another link here to citation referencing methodologies and so on. Additionally, when you are naming your files, so something that I already noticed here with the e-classroom in terms of the forum discussions, if you look at the name of the files that people are putting up here, all right, um, these are so this is the only one that's closest to the correct form that the file name has to be. Let's look at what this is. Your file should be your name, followed by the name of the course, followed by the CRN, followed by the name of the assignment. So in this case here, where Miss Ramsey has put up her thing, so she has her name. It should then have the ECON 120 CRN. What's the CRN for this class? This is 23160 forum discussion, and that would be enough. So it can't have these generic names that people have, Econ 120 online forum discussion. And the reason for that is because I need to store your data, and your data is going to go into a file Well, I don't have anything here that's like that at this point in time because I sort of moved everything. Show you what I mean by that. So every semester I set up a folder, and each folder has a list of all the students and their assignments that is going to be stored for a period of time and backed up. So in the event that somebody comes on queries their grade or something, I always have everything that they've done. And I do that for all my classes, regardless of whether you are in my 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 um, all right. So I always back up everybody's information. So naming your documents properly is useful for me in particular because it allows me to have relatively easy access to finding your work and putting your work into a place or a slot that makes it easier. So once your name is on it, I know it's yours, and you need to rename each version of the document. So let's say Sophia decides she wants to go and update this document for resubmission. Sophia would need to rename the document discussion forum version 2 because she's making some changes to the document. All right, so that way we can track the changes. All right, so that's why I have version 1 here as a part of the name tag. The reason for that is to um, allow you to rework your assignments so that you could improve it. Okay, that makes sense so far, guys? Yes, no,
Yes,
maybe?
sir.
Yeah? Okay. All right, so let's look at, so all of the rest of the stuff here is kind of detailing which learning outcomes are being tested and so on. So these are the questions, and you recognize that some of the questions, like for instance in this area here, the question on ceilings and floors, right? Question 1 and question 5 were part of your forum discussion. You don't have to, what's the word I want to use? You don't have to go on things. So basically what you did for the forum discussion, you can now copy down into this paper. All right, which is why I don't want you posting your forum discussions into the Turnitin Turnitin module. So it'll start to link all these things back, and it'll say, all right, this is you're copying this all together from your previous work. All right, because you can plagiarize your own work. I'm just letting you know that. All right, so the idea is to give you a couple of the questions in the forum discussion to get the handle of how to go about responding to questions and how to do your citation so that when you tackle this assignment and you're working on all the other elements, you have a better idea of how you're supposed to be tackling your assignments across the board. All right. So the assignment questions, so you have the set of questions under the demand, supply, price ceilings and floors, 5 questions there. Then you have 3 questions for economies and diseconomies of scale. That's going to be these here, of which one of them you've tackled already. You would have, actually you tackled already, but you would have tackled already in the forum discussion. That's question 2 here. Then we have distribution of income, of which you would have already tackled. Briefly explain why the demand for concert tickets is considered irrelevant. So you don't have to go and do the 2 ways, just copy what you did in the first instance here, and I would already gone through that and tell you if there was something wrong with it in any case. All right, you just have to add in now your work or your write-ups for these areas here for distribution of income. Make sense so far, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is the mark scheme for the assignment. All right, 70% for the content, 10 for layout and presentation, 10 for language usage, 10 for citation. So 10% across the board for those elements, 70% for the content. All right, there are rubrics here that's going to give you the breakdown of how the marks are going to be applied, what we're looking for, so you'll get a better understanding of what you need to be doing to be able to get good grades. All right. So focus on this area here where it says exemplary work. You want to be, hitting this kind of description in in the way in which you respond to your questions. All right. Okay. So that's the end of assignment 2. So the next assignment is the journal, what I call the articles journal. So this is one requires a bit more work. So that what you have to do first off for this assignment, this is why this is due May the 2nd. So it's outside of class time that is due, but you need to be doing prep work from before. All right. So you are required to find an article in the newspapers or in international or regional newspapers and stuff that has some form of economic content in it. And you're going to be reviewing, first of all, it can't be more than 6 months old. So that's the first thing. So you're finding an article and you're going to be looking at that article to see if there is some, not to see, but to evaluate it in relation to an economic aspect. So what you're looking for is the application of economics to the world around us. All right. Um, I would tell you stay away from highly academic papers that you might get on EBSCO host and that type of stuff because they tend to be so highly, kind of highly removed from the real world. What I'm looking for is for you to find everyday articles that you could make a link between the real world and some of the economic activity that's taking place around us. So look out for articles on in the newspapers and stuff dealing with price changes or household incomes or people's that type of stuff. So you have to find an article. You have to pass it by me first to approve it because I don't want you writing up a journal without with it having no relationship to economics or very little relationship to economics. And then you're going to respond or write up your analysis of that article using these questions here to guide your response. So the first question, of course, what is the article about, is really a summary of the article. uh, you have to identify one economic concept discussed in the course microeconomics that is addressed in the article or is in part of what that article is about. Define the concept, explain how that concept has been addressed in the article, and provide examples from the article to support your explanation of the relationship between what has been discussed in the article and the economic concept from the course itself. So easiest thing for you to connect would be things like prices, demand, supply, elasticity, those kind of things. Those are easy ones. You could even come across scarcity issues. Those are very broad concepts, and hopefully you should be able to find articles that will make that kind of linkage. So for 5 marks, you want to also identify one positive and one negative effect of the event that you're talking about on you as an individual. So you have to position yourself as an individual who might be affected by this particular activity and see what kind of impact it's likely to have, one positive, one negative. So we're looking at you to have a balanced response. Then we want to look at positive and negative events for an entire household, all right, and one positive, one negative on the country as a whole. Um, sort of effect analysis, cause and effect analysis. Do you think government intervention will be necessary in dealing with this particular issue? And if you say yes, you have to say why. And if you say no, you still have to say why. And describe one likely outcome if government were to go interfering with that particular thing or putting in controls for it. So we're looking for you to do some analysis there and some what we call supposition, predictive analysis of what is likely to happen if government were to do something to intervene in that particular activity. And then describe 3 measures you would recommend government to implement to deal with the issue or the problem that you've seen in that particular article that you're looking at. All right. Please ensure that your lecturer approves your article before starting this assignment. That's really important. I don't want you tackling this without getting my approval. So the easiest way for you to do that, send me articles on WhatsApp. I can, that's why I say find online articles or articles you could get from the newspaper and stuff like that. I'll have a look at them. It means you have to do some reading beyond the classroom activities, a little wider across the board. Once you've finished with that, the assignments are assessed in the same way, Content 50 10% for organizational layout, language usage, 10% citation. There's a rubric down here for how that works out. Again, you want to focus on being exemplary. So focus on this area here so that when you're describing these or answering these questions, you're kind of falling into this category here for your work. Um, what again? So I have to check that. You have to check in with me in relation to this. Again, this requires the same kind of academic paper finish, title page, page numbers, content page, that type of stuff. You want to also do the double line spacing, all the same things. Again, when you're naming this file, you're going to put your name, the name of the course, followed by the CRN number for the course, and followed by the name of the assignment. So this is journal assignment version 1. Um, again. All right. Any questions about this assignment? Yes? No? Okay. All right. So as the journal assignment. Okay, quizzes. So as I talked about, there are 8 quizzes across the board. I'm taking your best 7. You will have at least 2 attempts, and all the quizzes are open already. And they will close on the 18th. According to this, they're open already, and they will close on the 18th of May. You have 20 minutes. You have multiple. In most instances, you have at least 2 to 3 attempts at the questions. And as I said, I'm taking your best 7 out of 8 quizzes because of the number of units I'll be doing there. Cool. Multiple choice questions only, so pay attention and look at them. And again, the reason for having multiple attempts is to allow you the opportunity to take it as a litmus test as to how much you've understood about the topic. If you didn't do good, stop. Don't go and do another attempt. Go and review the material, paying attention to the areas or the questions that you got wrong in terms of those particular aspects of the concepts, so that you kind of get it. If you're still finding you're struggling with it, before you finish your final attempt, get in contact with me. Maybe I can help you understand the content better, so that you wouldn't make those kind of mistakes. All right. So again, the nature of the quizzes is kind of summative in nature, but it allows you the ability to build upon one attempt to the other. You don't just want to go and do all 3 attempts one time. You're not using it for its practical approach to the whole thing. Okay. All right. So moving into any questions about the quizzes? No. Yes.
No, sir.
We good there? All right. All right, so now we move into the final assessment, which is the group project. So the group project is divided into 2 elements. There's the written project, which is due on the 18th of May. And that is an assignment that is group-based in nature. So we're setting up groups of 4 to 5 persons. This class has how many people in it? Right, so we have a situation where one group will be 6 and the others will be 5. We have some people who didn't make it today, and just take a note of that. All right, so we have 5 people who didn't make it. So what we'll do is we'll set up each group with some gaps, so that we can absorb those absent individuals into those groupings there. So basically what we're going to be doing, you're going to be pulled into groups of 4 to 5 persons. You all will then select a country that you would like to investigate from a microeconomic perspective. You'll have to do that. Then you're going to respond to the questions for each of those countries. These questions down below here: type of economic system, discuss how the system allocates resources in that country, specifically with examples from that country about how that works, the type of firms, the types of markets they operate in, the impact of the market structure on their um, output pricing and profits, and last one here on the impact that the coronavirus had on households and firms in that country. You also have to include an introduction to the country that will give us some idea of the demographics, such as where it's located, its size, culture, which includes things like foods, clothes, distinctive holidays, its language, the population size, what type of government system is utilized, who's the current leadership, interesting places to visit or to see, and other interesting facts about the country. That will be part of your introduction to the country. You're allowed to use pictures and diagrams and, well, pictures in particular or images of the countries to make it an interesting document that it's not only good to read but also interesting to look at, because we could get some visuals to go with it, especially in the presentation element. That will be useful when you're shaping and designing your PowerPoint presentations. How many of you here have already done COM 108?
I have.
One, anybody else? All right, so those skills that you've picked up in COM 108 are going to be important because you're going to be doing an oral presentation as part of this thing. So in terms of, thanks a lot for your response, guys. All right, so yeah, these are the questions that you're going to pull together and you're going to respond and write up a paper about, but you're going to be presenting your findings from it. And the presentation is the 25th of April. So we're going to be looking at you as a group presenting the content that you find out about this country. You have to answer all of those questions in your presentation. So content, I'm looking at 60%. Your presentation style and skills, 25%. And of course, even though you're doing a PowerPoint presentation and you're doing spoken presentation, you still have to cite your sources. So citation, 15%. All right, all the members of the group are required to contribute to the presentation and you should try to make the presentation enjoyable and informative for the rest of us. I will be recording those presentations, and after you finish all presentations, I will be giving you immediate feedback as to how you've performed and your score out of 100%. Now the presentation counts for 10%. If there are any major issues, about the content element, especially in that area of answering the questions, I will be giving you specific directives as to how to fix those problems if you do, or what you need to do to make sure that you can get either improve the score or maintain the average that you're coming up with. So that's why you're not submitting the group project or the group PowerPoint presentation online until after the group presentations. That makes sense, guys? Remember that. Huh? You're not doing any submissions online until after the presentation date of the 25th of April. Okay? Now, this is where peer evaluation can come in. If a group is dysfunctional in the way it's working, I will then ask you to do a peer evaluation form, which means each member of the group will have to do a peer evaluation form, scoring everybody in the, let me show you what that form looks like. It scores everybody else but yourself in 25 questions or 25 statements, utilizing a rating system from 0 to 4. 0 being that they absolutely disagree or did nothing, to they did everything they needed to do, which is a maximum of 4. That gives an overall score out of 100%, which then gives me an idea of how the people performed in the group. And the unfortunate thing with a group peer evaluation form like this is that it's punitive in nature, in that the end result of that is that, let's say for example, the group does a great paper and they get 90% overall score, but because of the dysfunction of the group, you find that so you get 90%, but the peer evaluation form comes up and says, okay, you're getting you performed at a 75% rating by your peers. So multiply that by 0.75, it means that you will end up getting 67, well, let's call it 68 marks from from the potential of having gotten 90 marks. So that's what makes it punitive in nature, because it will impact upon the individual who scores least. Yes, somebody has a question. Karishma? Okay. All right. So, which is why I don't want us to use pay evaluation, because of the nature of how it impacts upon individual grades. I prefer that if you are having issues, you get in contact with me quickly and urgently, so that I can try to help you address the issues that you're facing. It might be that a particular student is not responding, or they're submitting poor work. You have to remember that not everybody has the same level of preparedness for this course that other people have. That's why I took note of who has prior experience with economics as opposed to those who don't. All right. So far, so good. So you look at the rubrics for all the marking for these activities across the board. Any questions about this last assignment that is split into two elements?
Awesome.
Everything's okay? We understand everything? All right, that moves us into the next area, which is Chantal, fine, great. Which is we need to formulate groups. So, how do we go about formulating groups? All right. So, I want to create 5 groups in this class because we have 26 people. So, I'm looking at generally a maximum of. So, initially, I'm going to call each group just group 1, 2, 3. Whoops. Let me just change that. Group 1. Set that up. Then we'll populate them in a little bit, okay? Group 2. Save that change. So as you can see, I can auto create groups, right? But I don't want to. I want to give you all an opportunity to choose the groupings that you're going to end up in. However, there's one caveat to that, and that has to do with this list of individuals who have prior experience in economics. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people who have prior knowledge or prior work with. So the first thing I'd like to do is to take these people and put them into, kind of spread them out across all 5 groups. But that sounds reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah, because it means that at least each group has somebody who has a bit of a somebody in who kind of knows what they're doing, or knows a little bit about economics. Yeah, everybody agrees with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So group 1,
Yes, sir.
let me give that one to Aaliyah. All right. Let me go back now to groups. Group 2. Who's the next person in that hit group? Um, right, Miss Balkaran. Right, add her to group 2. Back to groups. Group 3. Who's the third person on the hit list here? Eastman, Cheryl. Cheryl, you were the one who did econ a long time ago.
Yes, a very long time.
Okay, well let me skip you and put Malik there instead. All
Yeah.
right, because Malik is more recent. All right.
But remember, it's geography. I did.
No, no, but I know I did advanced level geography too. There's a lot of that macroecon stuff, but it still needs you have a little bit. All right, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put Eastman with you because her information is a bit old, not ancient, old. I'm pretty certain I did economics further back than then. So I'll give you an additional support. Will that work, Malik?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. So let me put Mackenzie Brown in group. What's this? Group 4. Mackenzie Brown. Boy, it's not easy to see these names. Carissa. All right. Back to groups. We need to go to group 5. Miss Ram Logan. Oh well. Owen. All right, there we go. Add her to that. Let me see if we have anybody else. Nope, she was the last one. All right, so I promised right, Malik, I will add into his group um, Miss Eastman. Alrighty, so we have some people in groups. So people who want to join Leah, sorry, Miss Austin. We can take a few of you. All right, so let me go back to the groups and give you all a chance to think about who you want to be with. So group 1 is Aliyah, group 2 has Miss Balkaran, group 3 has 2 people already, Malik and Cheryl. Group 4 is Carissa, and group 5 is Miss Ram Logan. So,
I don't mind going in group 1.
who's this?
Karishma.
Karishma who?
Chattagoon.
Chattagoon. Okay. Yes, can I find you? It's really hard finding names like that. Right, here it is. It for some reason it doesn't. All right, so Karishma is gone. Is in the group with Aliyah, Miss Austin. Anybody else wants to join them? We have space for 3.
I joined group 1 as well.
Who's this?
Sophia Ramsey.
Sophia Ramsey.
I'll join group 1 as well. After that.
Okay, hold up right there.
So I can join as well.
Okay, hold on. I have to find Sophia first. So Sophia, and who was the second person? Hello?
Jada Thompson.
Jada Thompson. That was it?
And Chantal Vallon.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Remember, we have 5 people absent, so I want to put 5 people who are absent into each group today. All right? So the one person who is absent is Daniela John, so I'm going to put Daniela John in the first group. For the simple reason I don't want to lump all of the absent people into one group and cause a bit of an overload. All right. Okay, so that's group 1. So group 1 has 5. Group 2 is Miss Balkaran. All right. So who wants to join Miss Balkaran? Well, I will put one person with her one time, and that is Ranelle Joseph. She was absent today. If I could find right.
So I would join that group as well.
Who's that?
Miss Rianne John.
Rian John, okay. Anybody else?
So I could
Lydia
join
Hicks.
Janae
From group one
Fonsat.
or
Okay, I'm seeing
Janae
Annalisa
Fonsat.
Singh and Janine Fonsat.
Yes.
All right, so it's Janine Fonsat and Annalisa Singh. Oh, where's your name, Annalisa? All right, there you are. Okay, so that closes this group. That's 5 there. Fantastic. All right, we cooking with gas. Now, while I'm assigning the other people, the groups that have already gotten together, I want you all to start to think about 3 countries that you want to do research in, with the exception of the United States, Trinidad and Tobago, China. All right. Now, group 3 already has 2 persons assigned to it. Let me put 1 person who's absent today. Miss Unessa Nessa. Unessa Nesta. Right. Anybody else wants to join? I have room here for 2 people for this group with Cheryl and
so was I placed on a Chantal Valentine.
Valentine. No, you haven't, but I can put you with these guys. I have a place for 1 more person. Miss Davis, I see your hand up. Does that mean you want to be in this group? Put a thumbs up if you want.
Placed on that. Not a-
Sorry?
Chantal Valentine, you can.
I know I'm putting Chantel there, but I see Miss Davis's hand is up. Can you open your mic and speak, Miss Davis?
So I think in the chat she said yes.
Yes? Okay. All right. Let me add you to this group then. All right. So there are 5 people in this group along with the person who was absent, which is Onessa. Okay. Let's go to the next group, which is group 4. That's with Carissa. So I need to add an absent person to that group, which is last person who was absent was Thorn. Corinne Thorn. All right. Anybody else wants to join Carissa? All right, Isabel, you're already in the previous group. So Haynes, Lydia,
So I don't mind being in that group as well.
Justin, all right, Batiste,
And
okay,
Ethan Batiste.
and Ethan. You're all related, by the way.
No, sir.
You know.
No.
All right, the last person I can take is Harry. All right, so let's add these 4. Whoops, no, 6. Wow, how we handle that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, they have the. All right, so we'll leave this group as the 6th. Which then means that our last group will be group 5 will be automatic. We'll have to put everybody else who's not in the group now. So that's Miss Bridgelal, who was also absent. Crap, I forgot about her. Miss Cadogan, Mr. Constantine, Miss Rambarose. I think that's it. All right, Simone. How come Arman is in this group? Oh no, she was the group person. All right, cool. All right, so yes, Justin and Aaliyah, see your hands are up. Questions?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to ask. What was the question? List think of 3 countries
That you all
that
want
are
you all
what?
want to research, yeah. So it means you have to kind of talk to the other members of your group. So I would say go into the WhatsApp chat group and message the others. Probably set up another group chat where you all can meet privately. I'm gonna give you all a little time to do that, and in the next 5 or 10 minutes, give me back some countries you all want to know. I would recommend all the groups try to organize some sort of subgrouping. Again, this is with the power of WhatsApp. You can go ahead and organize that story. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you could, create another subgroup in WhatsApp for the other people. I'm giving you all 10 minutes to organize this. And when we come back, we will assign people to their, well, I will update the information on the e-classroom with your group names.
Sir, can I see the group listings again, please?
Okay. All right. That might be a, hold on a sec. I think I know what I need to do. Hold on. Okay. I'll put the group listings in the WhatsApp chat. Just gonna have to edit it a little bit. All right, that helps.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that those group listings should help you there. Aaliyah, see your hand still up? Yeah, Leah, see your hands. Well, it was up. It's down now. All right, guys, how we doing? Any group getting enough feedback to give me a couple countries? I want to give you all some basic advice on countries you ought to be using. Oh, I could change classes again. Yeah, I guess nobody's listening to me right now.
So 3 countries on what again?
Just 3 countries that you all want to do some research on. All right, so which group are you with?
Group 1. We're still discussing it.
Still discussing. Any feedback from group 2? They're still getting together. What about group 3, 4, and 5?
So I'm getting drilled. It's
Okay.
just only one person from my group messaged.
Are you supposed to have Constantine, Cadogan, and Rambarose? Are they still here in class? Constantine
Yes,
is
I
here.
hear.
Right, well, guys, hop onto the WhatsApp chat group now. She's trying to get onto you guys to have a chat. Joel about it. Cadogan is here. Um, yeah, she's here. Marek, Constantine, you're still around? Uh, right, it's like Simon's kind of dropped off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marek, Constantine, see if Arwan is trying to get in contact with you, Ms. Ramlogan, to join a subgrouping on the WhatsApp chat group to make some decisions about the countries you're all going to be doing some research with.
Okay.
I could barely hear you, but see if you could organize them. All right, Batiste and Batiste, how are things going with your group? And Carissa.
So we coming up with the countries.
All right, so let me give you all 5 minutes again, all right?
Okay, sir.
What's going on with that? All right, guys, how we going? Well, yeah, Aaliyah, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. What group are you with again? First group?
Group 1.
All right. What countries you have?
Nigeria, Ukraine,
Oh, hold on. I'm typing. Nigeria, Nigeria,
Ukraine,
Ukraine. That might be. I would not advise that you'll. Well, try it and see. Ukraine. What's the other one?
Japan.
Japan. All right. All right. So the issue you might have. So if you go on the e-classroom, you'll see that I've updated. All right. Let me just share my screen so you'll see what I'm doing. Um, so what I've done is I've updated the name of your group with the countries that you're looking at. So what eventually has to happen is you all have to um, shortlist down to one country. You're not doing all three countries. All right. So in the meantime, what you can do um, is start to look at the, start doing some basic research in relation to the questions to see how easy it is to get the type of information necessary for you all to answer the questions for your group. All right. So I would say by the next time we meet, I should get some feedback from you guys in relation to which country you all have decided um, to shortlist as the one that you all are going to look at. All right. That makes sense, Aaliyah?
Yes, sir.
Good. All right. I'm just going to come back to the end of the schedule here with the dates for those things, right? The next class I'm having with you all is, I believe it's um, after Carnival. No, is it? Before Carnival? Yeah, after Carnival, 15th of February. Okay, so group two, any feedback?
Hi, sir.
Yes?
This is Janae. We have Venezuela,
Hold on, let me just take note of these names. Venezuela, VEN, Venezuela,
Guyana,
Gyana. Uh-huh.
and Brazil.
Brazil. Anybody in your group speak Spanish?
I'm related to Venezuelans, if that helps.
Okay. Well, but do you speak Spanish? Because you're going to get a fair amount of Spanish speaking data. Brazil is not Spanish, but Portuguese, kind of, um, they speak more Portuguese than Spanish.
Yeah, Brazil is Portuguese. I was planning to use Google Translate.
All right, yeah. See how you could work with that. But again, as I said, start doing some research on in terms of what you're looking for is ease of of access to the information and the reliability of those sources that you're utilizing so that you can answer the questions that are asked for the assignment. So by the next class, which is after Carnival, I want to get this list down to one, okay, that you all are going to focus on. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right, cool. Okay, so the next group is group three. Miss Davis, Eastman, Edwards, Nestor's not here, and Valentine.
Yes, sir.
Right. You all have any update to this group?
So far we settled on Barbados and Guyana. We
You
just had a
can't.
confirm.
You can't use Guyana.
Oh, we can't use Guyana?
No, somebody else is using it already.
Oh, see, yes. Okay,
Try.
hold on.
Right. So you have one country from the CARICOM region. Try a country from outside of CARICOM. No.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Go ahead. I'll get back to you all. Let me just check in with group four. That's the Batiste, Folks, Harry, Haynes, Mackenzie, and Thorne. Well, Thorne's not here.
Hi,
Chris,
sir.
right, Carissa?
We have Singapore,
Whoop.
Australia, and
Huh.
Jamaica.
Okay, so Jamaica, Jamaic, Jamaica, Singapore, and Australia.
Australia, yes.
So you've been listening to the instructions I've been giving?
Yes, did we do something wrong? Incorrect?
No, no, no. In terms of what comes next,
Oh, yes,
you
yes.
to get it down to
Yes, to
one,
figure out which one.
right, of the three that you all are going to be choosing from. All right, let's talk to group five. That has Bridgelal, Cadogan, Constantine, Rambaruz, and Ramlogan. Now I know they were kind of late in getting together, but any sort of feedback, Owen?
Yes, sir. We chose Dubai, Russia, and India.
Dubai, 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 Russia, and India. All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, so again, the same instructions. You will have to um, shortlist that down to one by the next meeting date, which is after Carnival. All right. Okay. So the only group that has one country is group three, which says they're looking at Barbados. Miss Eastman is coming back in. Um, so well, Miss Eastman is with this group. So any updates on group three? Cadogan is coming back in.
So
Hi.
you was one from CARICOM.
Yeah, choose one from CARICOM and from outside.
No.
Any other countries you're coming up with? You don't have to go CARICOM. It's just that it's useful to have one from the area.
So I was thinking about Panama as well, but I waiting to confirm with the group.
Right. Okay. So you need two more countries. But I see Cadogan is back in. Jada's coming back in again. Jada's having a lot of issues. Um, what's Cadogan's first name? Krishma. No. All right. Sheena. It's not. Is it Sheena? Shania. Shania's here with more than one device.
So we would go with Italy, Canada,
Italy, Italy, Canada, and Barbados.
and Barbados. Yeah.
All right, cool. So let me just add those to your profile. Italy and Canada. All right. That's great work, guys, for this session. So every group, I put that information in the name. So when you go to the e-classroom, you should see that under your profile. in terms of what groups you're in. Um, and you should, by, as I said, the next planned session that we have is um, the 15th of February. So by that date, I'd like to get you all to submit to me one country from the three that you're looking at there. All right. So we've done a good bit of work this evening, um, in terms of getting to know each other and looking at the e-classroom and looking at all the assignments. So I want to thank you all for being such a good audience and participating. And I look forward to us having good sessions like this in the future moving forward. Anybody has any final questions or queries that they would like to ask at this point in time before we close off for tonight?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Hmm.
the written report and the journal, right?
Yeah.
We have to write it like a essay.
Well, it, it's an academic paper. So when you say an essay, what do you mean?
Like how it have the questions asking us what we have to the information. We don't have to put the questions in the document, right?
Yes, you should, because it'll help to keep your questions separated. You know, an essay usually has introduction, a conclusion, and the body, right? But this is structured questions, so you are responding to the questions themselves. So it's not an essay per se, but a discussion of the questions being asked specifically. So you set up your. That's why it's going to be like a book. Each question is going to be a different section by itself, where you respond to the question, which includes, in some instances, diagrammatic work, which are references and everything along the way. So it's not a traditional essay structure that you're looking at in terms of responding to the work. That's a good question, though. Is that relatively clear earlier? Does that
Yes,
answer
sir.
that answer the question? All right. Anybody else has any last questions or queries that they want to ask about? Again, as I said, the recording for this session will be going up on the e-classroom. For those people who missed it, um, uh, I would be posting it there. Unfortunately, we'll have this big open spot where we were doing the group assignments and stuff. So we'll see how that works out. All right. Well, if nobody has anything to say, let me stop the recording.